You want to talk about being successful? Man, she was killing it. She won a state championship. She got the college offers from all around the country. She made it, but then she couldn't find the strength to get out of bed. She was diagnosed with major depressive disorder in high school, but she kept playing. She kept fighting. She won a state championship her senior year. She got the scholarship offer. Everyone thought she was living a dream and she was doing it, but the mental toll on her mindset got worse. So she quit basketball completely. She gave up hooping. She walked away from the game that she was working so hard at for all these years and committed her life to. But at the end of the day, she couldn't give up hooping. The game kept a hold on her. And so after taking months off, she started training again, started working, getting the groove back. She got connected with a whole new school and she's working her way back, grinding. Hope was coming back. She was feeling good. Then she got hit. Domestic violence. The concussion that reset everything for her. And she was alone. She was 1,000 miles away from home, no family, no friends, no one else really around her. Today, she opens up about surviving domestic violence, her battle with depression when everyone thought that she had it all, but inside she was dealing with a whole lot. Rebuilding herself when basketball became her identity and everything else was ended up being ripped away from her. She talks about her journey and her faith, how she developed a relationship with Christ when she felt like there was nothing else to really believe in at this point. She talks about rebuilding her mind and her body when it was pretty much broken and learning to love herself again. She didn't feel like she deserved it at all. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this episode and this story matters. If you ever felt like you were drowning, and everything feels like it's fine. When everybody sees you winning on the outside, but inside you feel like you're tearing down. If you ever been hurt by someone that said that they loved you, if you ever lost yourself and you feel like you're just the road to come back, this one's for you. This one's heavy, this one's real, and this one's raw, but it might save someone's life. So, Jaycee, if I needed to understand you and where you're at now, what do you need to understand about you and your past to get a catch up to where you're at now?
I feel like my past definitely doesn't define me. I have a wild story as an athlete and just as a human being, but it has shaped me a little bit into who I am today. I feel like the most important thing that you could say has happened from my past to now is just growing the relationship that I have with God. I'm honestly here today because God put me into the position to be who I am. Um, and yeah, it's just been a crazy testimony. Athletically, it's been wild. Personal wise, it's been wild. So yeah.
Yeah, you have a very interesting background story, just, from following me on social media and seeing what you post about and talk about. Um, a lot of people try to throw God in there, and some people try to make it seem like it's this very like woo woo thing or try to like discredit it of like what does God have to do with that? And so for you to say that, like what is it about relationship with God that makes you believe and know that it was him playing a role into it?
For sure. So, just to start it off with my athletic journey, I came from a really, really good high school. I had a lot of offers. I don't even remember. It was just so many offers at one point in my life. And I still had a pretty good love for the game. I had 2 years coming into college. I played 2 years at an NCAA school. And then right in between that, I just went through a little phase where I was just like, I don't want to play basketball anymore. I was burnt out. I had AAU every weekend, and then, I was a COVID baby, so I was
Right.
playing AAU during high school season. So I was just going and going, and at the time, I had depression a little bit. I didn't really know how severe it was until it got to a specific point in my life. But sophomore year of college, I decided I'm just not gonna play. I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm burnt out. I don't like school. And I honestly just went through a little phase of just a lot of negative, like, connotation to it. And just to be fully transparent, just hanging with the wrong crowd. And, my circle, they just weren't doing things that, you know, I guess you could say had a good future to it. And I do fully believe that when you have a good circle, that helps you a lot. So going into that, I sat out for a year, my gap year. I wanted to come back and play, But by the time I came back to commit to a school, it got shut down. Like, I think this was around June. So I'm still looking, and mind you, I'm coming off of a gap year with no highlights. So that was super hard, especially coming out of COVID. At that time, a lot of people had the extra year rule, but as crazy as it sounds, I just didn't really have any fear. I just knew something was going to work out. So I reached out to the coach that I'm with now, and they reached out to me within 5 minutes of my email, which is just, I already felt like that was a God given thing because I had sent so many emails. I've talked to coaches on the phone, I've talked to them in text messages, and whether it was just, oh, we want you as a walk on, whatever it was, it just never seemed to go through completely the way it was supposed to. So them reaching out to me fast was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's a coincidence. So the school ended up being all the way in Irvine, California, which is super, super, super far from where I live. I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama, and at the time, that's where I was. So, and I've never been on a plane before at the time. So,
Mhm.
super scary, but I don't know. I just feel like that was the start of my testimony with God. I flew out here. I committed not that long after getting to know my coaches, had a great relationship with both of my coaches. They're amazing people. I get out here, and as a true Alabamian, it was so scary. And I was like, I can't stand these California people. I don't want to be here. California's not for me. And it was just simply because it was hard. It was super diverse. I was not used to just honestly being in the city. It was very overwhelming. And just having to get back into the groove of being into athletics and school. So that was super hard. Around that time, I was coming off of not only being kind of out of shape and a year off of being into school. All my teammates knew each other. I did not know anyone. I was the last girl on my team to get recruited. So I go into that season just trying to work out as much as I could. I remember my first beach workout was horrible. It was the worst workout of my life. I was so gassed. It was so hard. And mind you, like I said, everyone already knew each other and they had their roommates. And I don't even know some of the girls' names. But I was just like, okay, you know what? Just stick it out, stick it out. So 3 weeks in, everything that could have went wrong went wrong. My aid was getting cut because we couldn't figure that out. I came in late. I had to learn the plays late. So I was just like, okay, you know what? One more thing and I'm done. If one more bad thing happens, I'm going back home. I'm just not worthy of being in California. So probably a month into the being into California, I had a situation that ended up leaving me with a concussion and just really, really like beaten and bruised up. It was super hard because at the time, it was definitely by someone that I trusted, but going into where I was going into, I was already not into a good environment. It was pretty toxic. Like I stated, the people that I was hanging out with and just the things that was going on. So I had to go to the hospital and get checked up. I had a concussion so severe that immediately they were like, I don't even know how you're not knocked out. It was super bad. And then I didn't even know because I thought it was COVID. I was just trying to get my work in. I go to the gym and I'm so dizzy. I'm just like, I feel sick to my stomach. Maybe I'm dizzy because I'm out of shape. And I got a full workout in for 2 days until I was like, okay, maybe it's something serious. So I go thinking they're going to tell me I have COVID and I'm dehydrated. And they're like, you have a really bad concussion. So I feel like a lot of that was just my concussion, like having to learn how to deal with it. I didn't handle it correctly in the beginning, but that comes with being said. At the time, I had to completely isolate myself from people who I thought were my friends, completely isolate myself from my team because I couldn't be around noise. I had to be in a room by myself. And because I came in late, I didn't have a roommate. So not only was I by myself, I came up here with no family, no friends, and I only know my coach's last name. It was one of those things that it sounded like out of a story.
Mhm.
So I look at my phone. I call my mom. My mom doesn't really know what's going on. She just thinks that I don't feel good. Me and my mom are very close. And I called her and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. And she immediately was like, oh my goodness. Because of the situation going on and my mom being sick, she couldn't fly out here. So I had nobody. out here to lean on other than my team, the girls that I was around, and my coaches. My coaches are everything. And I feel like God placed me specifically in this environment to learn how to not only just grow up and figure out things on my own, but to create a relationship with Him because I had a friend on the team who was super, super close to God. And leading up to that day, she'd asked me, "Hey, you want to go to church with me?" And I'm like, oh my God. Like the reaction that I would give her, I feel so bad because I'm just like, no, I don't want to go to church. Like, I'm trying to go party. So she's like, okay, well, it's fine. She asked me every Sunday. So leading up to that, everyone was hanging out. We had like meet the team, all these type of events. And everyone was going, pushing themselves out there. And mind you, I don't know anyone here. So I'm just like, not only do I not know anyone here, I have a concussion. I can barely see. My concussion was so bad that I lost memory of so many things and I had to go to physical therapy. My speech it was just all over the place. So I had no hope left. I told myself, I'm going home. I was literally looking at tickets to go home the next day. And I was like, I'm going to go home. I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm just going to dip. I'm going to pack everything up in my room. And I drove to California. So I had probably like one or two suitcases. So I was like, that's perfect. I don't even have to pack anything up really. I had my bags packed and I sat there and I haven't prayed. I didn't, like, I grew up in a very Christian household, but I never knew that when you pray, you could just talk to God. I just always thought that you prayed like over the food. And for some reason, before I like wanted to figure out how to just book a ticket to go home, I prayed to God. And it was just kind of like, hey God, I don't really know you. Um, you know me, but I don't know what I should do right now. I have no friends, no family. I don't have a car out here. I don't know like what you put me out here for, but whatever reason you put me out here for was just for humiliation. And it
Mm.
wasn't even a prayer. It was just telling God that I'm so irritated with him and like you got it. So as I continued to heal, I couldn't fly home because my concussion. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just wait until my concussion heals and I'll go home. I still had this ticket like on standby. Once I got to the point to where I could be around people, my friend's like, hey, do you want to go to church? I'm like, sure. I have nothing else to do today. I have no one else to talk to. I'm just going to go so you can be quiet. I go to church with her and I'm like, these people are so weird. Like, they're raising their hands, they're clapping. Like, what's the big deal? So I come home. I'm sitting there with her. She invites me to her young adults on that following Tuesday. I'm like, why not? I have nothing else to do. I go. And instantly, the pastor started talking about a super, super familiar situation that I was going through, which was absolutely crazy to me because nobody knows me in that church. And before I had went to church, I talked to God and I was like, okay, look, like I kind of get a little bit of what you're trying to do right now. If it's meant for me, let me know. And as soon as I said that prayer, I felt a shift in my life to where I wasn't angry at the person that did what they did to me. I wasn't angry about being out here on my own. Everything just started to get to where it came to acceptance. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to accept being out here by myself. I'm not going to be angry about it. I'm going to accept not knowing too many people. I chose to do this on my own. And a lot of peace started to come with it. But because I was so early in my faith, I didn't really know that that was God. I just knew it was something. But mind you, I have no hope left. I have no hope left to where mentally, because I already had depression growing up, it was getting to the point where I was just like, if something happens to me, it is what it is. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about my grades. I didn't care about my life. I was just happy just to wake up the next day and just get going. Whatever happens today happens. So being able to feel something emotionally and just physically with a shift in my life was just kind of like, okay, that's a little weird, but maybe it means something. So as the weeks continue, my friend continues to invite me to church. And then the same thing happens. I'm like, I'm going to read the Bible. I've never really read the Bible on my own. I'm just going to read a Bible verse and go from there. The Bible verse that I read, nobody knew. It was I think I was reading Matthew at the time, and I was just reading a part about like denying your flesh, pick up your cross, everything. I get to church, and the man at church, the pastor, is like, I feel like there is somebody in the room who's going through a situation, who it hurts them physically. He just starts stating all this stuff, and I'm just like, that's crazy. And then we go to flip to our Bibles in church, and the verse that is read is the verse that I marked like the week before I went to church. And I was like, okay, God, I knew you were real this whole time, but I didn't really know that you could hear me. So I was just testing him out. I'm like, okay, it's a coincidence. Mind you, I'm getting better. So I'm like, I'm going home soon. So I'm like, all right, I got 2 weeks until I sneak off home. Let's, for 2 weeks, see if you are going to do what like ask you to do. So as ignorant as it sounded, I sat there and I was like, okay, if this is real, do this. Send me a shooting star. And then instantly, boom, I would get a shooting star in the middle of the night. People who don't really have that relationship with God are going to think that I'm beyond crazy right now. But it was just everything just coincidentally began to happen. And it was only those things that I was having a conversation with God. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to stay home just because I'm going to finish the year out. Like, why not? And we'll see how this goes. I started going to church every Sunday. And still at the time, it was hard for me to make friends just because out here it's just really different. I didn't grow up like with the culture that the culture is out here. So it's hard for me to connect to people, rely on people. But this entire time, both of my coaches were just here for me through everything. Like my girl coach was here for me emotionally. My guy coach was like, hey, I'll talk to the school, let them know what's going on. Without them, I genuinely don't know where I would be like athletically. Not only did they take me under their wing, they made sure that, hey, don't even come back to the court right now. Go handle what you need to handle, and like we'll take it from here. They checked in on me probably 2, 3 times a day. And then I feel like God placed me where He did because of the community that came with it. But I didn't see that at the time. So I'm thinking I'm just going up to California just to hoop. But whole time, this was meant to happen. And it happened where it happened because of the people that I was around. If this were to happen somewhere else, I don't really know if I would have had the community. And if I didn't have that community, it would have been even more hard to get back on my feet. But having a community that is praying over you when you're going through something, or having a community who's putting life into you when you feel like you're dead, it changes everything for you. So without having the community that I have, I don't know, like to this day, where I would be. And that's why I feel like God placed me right here, right now. And ever since, I've just been connecting and reaching to God to where I have grown my relationship tremendously. But I don't feel like it would have happened without the situation that occurred like about a year ago when I first moved here.
Mm.
So yeah.
So what you're saying is kind of just like life happened, and every part of the way things should have went left, but it went right. And it's like, hold on, bro. Like
Mm,
you got the concussion. It's like, hold on, you should not be here, but you are. And then along the way, you don't know anybody, you don't know what's going on, but in spite of that, things keep working out for you. And it's like, okay, another situation happens. And somehow the preacher knows exactly what I'm dealing with, exactly what I'm talking about. And you finally start building a relationship with him, and things start to turn out even better for you more with that. And because of the past you've had and how things went left, you see how things could have went even worse, but it didn't because of him. Everything started gearing towards a better direction to where you're here today.
yeah, no, for sure. Like when I started implementing God, all of my thoughts started going away. I feel like the enemy knew what God placed me here for and placed me on this earth for. So ever since I was young, because I've gone through so much and I've never understood why is it always me. But I wasn't close to God and didn't read my word to understand that. I felt that the enemy just kept striking and kept striking and kept striking because he knew once I got to the point to where I was close to God, it's over. So not only like he already had no power because of what God's done for us, the fact that now I know that, I'm like, oh, like something bad happens now, I'm like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. So he was just getting so angry to I move out here, no friends. Boom. Now I have a concussion. Then it took I think it took 10 months to get my concussion cleared. So after about 3 or 4 months, it was so bad I had to go to a neurologist. The neurologist was like, no, like it's over. I'm just going to tell you the hard way. No one else is. Basketball's done. You're not going to play basketball again. Move forward, because I was just trying to get cleared, and I would go every single Friday for 10 months, every single Friday. Wouldn't get cleared, wouldn't get cleared. Or I would get cleared and it's like, okay, you're cleared, but we don't want to put you on the court yet. So I feel like God was purposely allowing me to be still, not only to grow with Him, but to just learn myself. Because although I took a gap year, it was to the point to where I was just getting corrupted mentally by just so much, just taking in a lot of negative things. So the fact that I could not only sit with a community and sit with God this time, I can actually sit down and be like, okay, you know what? Who is God? What can God do for me? And how can I implement that in my life and just apply it to my life to help other people? I just started thinking so different. The peace that came with God, the good thoughts, and also just good. Like claiming who I am now, like I was not always this person. I was not always a good person. I wasn't always kind. I was not always happy. But ever since I got close to God, it came to the point where I was just like thinking of other people. I don't feel like I've been a selfish person, but I do feel like now I'm more selfless. Everything that I had, God broke me down completely, but I didn't understand that he broke me all the way down to the bottom to not only allow me to start a foundation off of him to be my rock, but he rebuilt me in the way that I should have been built from the beginning. I just lost my way. And the more I turned to God, everything started. It basically was a gift. It was like, okay, I have a concussion, all this bad stuff's going on, but my community came. I'm getting closer to God. I have a great relationship with my team at the time and my friends and my coaches. And then I got closer to my mom. I got closer to my sister. A lot of things that I was ignoring, I had the opportunity to not only get closer, but to just work on my craft. Like, even though I couldn't physically bump into people, I was dribbling every day, shooting, doing something athletically. So I feel like that gave me more time to get onto the floor or get ready when I got onto the floor. And everything was just purposely set up the way it was because God knew if He just threw me out into the mist right now, I probably would have been back home. I probably would not have been able to play. I wouldn't have been good mentally. And having to break me down and build me like more mentally strong, anything that happens now, it doesn't phase me. But at the time, if I were to get like strike something, I would have been upset instantly. So having to just have God right next to me and slowly just grow and slowly improve on everything that I've not only wanted to improve my entire life, but just learn things about myself that I never ever knew. And it just like has blossomed since then. I've been told from peers and mentors like, "Oh, you're going to blossom." And I was just like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." But the garden that God's given me, and it all started from dirt. It looked so bad. But now it's like all of that happened, but the opportunities that came with it, learning how to play basketball faster, stronger. I've learned different positions. I'm a coach now. I'm a trainer. I have a community. I go to church. I'm helping out with kids who like have less than things than what I do. I can actually talk on my own TikTok about God, just everything. Like He's given me more than what I've ever asked for. I remember praying and saying like, God, I want to play ball, or God, I want this. But everything that's came with that, negative or positive, He's given me more than what I can't even explain it. I'm speechless because I did not think that He would give me the things that He's given me now. More than enough. And sometimes I have to like hit myself. I'm like, girl, you're being ungrateful. Like life is bad. I've seen life being bad. And life now, even a bad day, is not even a bad day. So yeah.
All right, okay. You gotta slow down because it's been a lot. So, first off, we're not gonna glance over the fact that you're from Bama. You feel me? Like, we're not just gonna
Uh-huh.
just
Big
especially
Birmingham.
especially 205, you feel me? We're not gonna skip over the fact that you a
Mhm.
Birmingham girl. Bama boy, Bama girl, we
Yep.
gotta start there first. You went
Yeah,
to
for sure.
a great high school here. Where'd you
Yeah.
go? Because you didn't mention that.
I went to I went to Spain Park High School for 2 years. I went to a
Mhm.
smaller school, Odenville, St. Clair County High School. It was pretty small athletically, and then once I saw I could, like, have a future in basketball, I had the opportunity to go play with Spain Park and Sarah Ashley, just a lot of other great athletes, and I played there for 2 years. We won state my first year there, so it was super fun, and I got, honestly, most of my offers my senior year there.
Mm. Okay. So, Bama girl, Spain Park. Where 'cause you said you had challenging things growing up. Was it high school age or was it middle school age that you had the challenges with mental health and everything?
I feel I noticed it more when I was around high school, probably 16. I say that just because that's when I actually got diagnosed with depression when I went to the doctor. I knew like something about me just didn't feel normal. Would I tell everyone? So once I actually was just telling my symptoms to a therapist and just to a doctor, that's when I actually got diagnosed. So I was about 16 or 17 years old.
So what was happening for you to say you want to see a therapist? Because sometimes you can just feel off and you just kind of shrug it off. What was happening for you to say, okay, I need to go seek therapy for it?
My mom and I, we call it down days, and a down day just basically means that you're not having a good day. Mentally, it's super hard. And I was having down days nonstop. The down days were just continuing. I felt like I didn't want to go up and go to school. I was just losing interest in honestly everything. And at that time, basketball was just not fun to me. So I began getting to the points where instead of 1 or 2 down days a week, it started becoming every day. And it was getting to the point to where I didn't want to wash my hair. I didn't want to shower. I didn't wanna eat. I didn't wanna eat so bad to where I had an eating disorder at 17 because I was so stressed with trying to be perfect, trying to play basketball. I've grown up as this athlete to where if I don't go to school for college or go play for college, who am I? So I was so stressed with just wanting to be perfect that it was taking my appetite away from me to where I had anorexia for a little while, and then it was just like, okay, my mom was like, "Look, I love you." Me and my mom have an amazing relationship, super transparent, and she was like, "This is not okay. It's okay to not be okay. Like, let's get help." And I've always grown up to just being so tough and thinking tough is great. And, I'm the middle child and I take care of everything. So it was super hard for me to learn that it's okay to not have everything together, which was extremely hard. I've been perfect my whole life. I feel I've made great grades. I'm the top student. I'm the best basketball player. I do everything amazing. So shifting to Spain Park, I wasn't the best basketball player. I didn't have the top grades. I wasn't used to having people honestly be on top like I was. So it was hard learning how to not only share, but I had to take a second back and clap for other people. And mentally, that was super hard for me. And like I said, just the more that I just let in my life that was negative at the time, going through life, family things, relationship stuff, it was just getting so heavy to where I was just like, I don't even care if I wake up tomorrow. And that's when suicidal thoughts started coming in and I had suicidal attempts. I'm super like open about it just because it's normal. A lot of people like to hinder away from it, but having bad days and having bad thoughts is normal and is completely okay. And I'm a transparent person, I'm honest, but just having those days to where it was one, like, I'm gonna keep it a secret, and then 2, and then 3, and now I'm just like, "Okay, like, what if this actually happens and it's successful? How would I feel if my family, like, who loves me dearly?" Like, so it got to the point to where I finally came to my mom. I was like, "Mom, I need help, and I don't know where to start, but I need help." So we went to the doctor, and I was just super honest. I just told them everything. Honesty is the best policy because a lot of people like to shy away and say, I mean, my thoughts are here and there. I was just like, no, I'm having extreme suicidal thoughts. I'm not happy, depressed. I hate everything and I hate everybody. And they gave me some medicine to start off with. Well, I had therapy, but then I had medicine. And just from there, it's like I've learned how to grow with it, how to live with it. but the closer I got to God, the more it seemed to, like, drift away from me.
Mm. So you were dealing with all of this in the middle of the success you were having in basketball.
For sure. Yeah. Social media is fake because I was getting all those offers. I had all these mixtapes. Life is great. But behind the cameras, it's like I'm crying before my AAU game because I don't want to go play because I just want to lay in the bed all day.
Mm. So what made you want to keep going with basketball and dealing with that in spite of, everything you're dealing with off the court?
I tried to use it as an escape, but when it came to the point to where it wasn't an escape, especially the coaching style wasn't used to that. Um, Just taking a second and just talking to my mom. My parents have been super supportive and they've always, like I said, growing up, I'm like, have to be perfect, have to do this. And being able to have my parents look at me and say, it's okay. If you don't want to go to school, it's okay. If you don't want to do this, it's okay. Like, obviously, you got to do something, but if you don't want to be a basketball player, that's okay. And my dad went to the G League when I was young. So I just felt like somebody had to take it over, and he didn't have a son? So
Mm.
I just had a lot of pressure for that. I felt like my relationship with my dad came from basketball. So I didn't want to, like, I was just always worried about everyone else and how it would make them feel. But once someone sat me down and was like, it doesn't matter what everyone thinks, it doesn't matter what everyone feels. It's what matters is if you're happy. And they were like, are you happy? I was like, no. And they're like, okay, then let's go from here. And I'm so grateful for that because I was growing up, especially at Spain Park, a lot of people's parents were not only forcing them to go to school, forcing them to play ball, AAU. My parents were just like, you know what? Do it for fun. If it's not fun, don't do it anymore. They've always taught me that, especially when it comes to working and living. Nothing is worth your peace, nothing is worth your happiness. So I started going into basketball thinking a little bit differently of like, okay, this isn't a job, it's supposed to be fun. So it started becoming gradually like more fun once I stopped putting all that pressure on myself.
So you were putting pressure on yourself. Like the idea of being perfect was put on you, right?
Yeah.
Where did that come from though? Because it seems like your parents were kind of chilling. It's like, we support you if you do, we support you if you don't. So what do you feel like the pressure you put on yourself was coming from?
I feel like a lot of it was I guess you could say politics, especially when I moved to Spain Park, just wanting to like be at the top, not used to it. Also just being at that age, 16-year-old girl, you just want to be popular, you want to have cool friends. So wanting the things that I didn't know were like not healthy and also just insecurity. I've just always wanted to just be with the cool people, like, and I feel like everyone wants to be like that, but they don't want to admit it. So I've always grown up being liked. I've always grown up being the girl that you go to when you need something. I've always grown up having curly hair and pretty hair and being tall. So just having to be like, okay, well, everyone loves me for this. If I cut my hair, they're not going to love me. I've just grown like into thinking, okay, people love me because I'm tall. They love me for this. So if I show them this or if I come in not happy, they're not going to like me. I've just always thought to have a heart for other people that I kind of put my own like wishes and needs to the side to where even growing up as a middle child, like my brother's the only boy and my sister's the youngest girl. So I was right in the middle of I have to take care of my brother, but I got to take care of my sister. But I'm the oldest girl, so I should know how to do this. And that came into friendships to where I'm the oldest one in the friendship or even the youngest. But you know what? My friends grew up like this, so I have to take care of them. I have to buy them gifts. I have to do everything. My love language was super giving, but I didn't give to myself. So I think that's where that insecurity of needing to be perfect came from.
Mm. Think like you just put the identity on of being that and doing that. And then you didn't, like you said, you didn't give yourself that love, but you also didn't give yourself that grace to be like, oh, it's okay if I'm not able to give gifts all the time and do all that all the time. And so, how did, when you got finally diagnosed with depression, how did that impact you and how you saw yourself? Like, did you see yourself as like broken or anything? Because that's the common thing. Like, how did you handle finally being diagnosed with depression?
Um, I feel like a little bit happy, just a little bit, because I was like, you know what? I'm
Really?
not crazy. Like, I knew
Okay.
something was going on, but growing up in a Christian household, my mom's always believed me, but a lot of my family doesn't, they don't believe in depression. They don't believe in mental health. Obviously, a little bit now since, times have changed. But growing up, especially in the South as a biracial woman, you're supposed to be tough. If something happens, then you get on. That's life. So growing up with that mentality was just like, okay, you know what? Something bad happens. Life's not fair. So being able to be diagnosed, it was like, I'm not just whining and complaining. Something is going on. Like, finally, somebody understands me just a little bit. And then being able to go see a therapist who specializes in psychology, being able to hear things that I think to myself, I'm just like, okay, finally. It was just a breath of fresh air, but it was also a little bit upsetting because I was like, okay, this is major depressive disorder. How do I deal with this? What is this?
Mm.
How do I go on about life from now on? So I feel like in the beginning, it definitely was just a little bit of just relief because I knew something was going on ever since I was young. But people just were just kind of like, you're just complaining. So being able to have someone finally tell my parents and tell my family, like, she's not being lazy, she's not complaining. This is something that actually has been holding her back.
Mm. Hey, man. Christians in the South, bro, ruthless. It's like, hey,
Uh-huh, definitely.
ain't nothing but the devil. You gonna shake it off. It's like, all right, dog. It
Uh-huh.
ain't just that, man. But yeah, that's a lot, man. And then you biracial too, so I know that's like a whole different beast of just removing everything else we talk about. Just being biracial, I know that's its own challenge in itself. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times, people talk about the misidentity of like, I'm not black enough for this, but I'm not white enough for that. And you have to deal with the jokes and stuff. I'm a little bit older than you, but I know we still had a lot of jokes back in the day. It's just like, you deal with a lot of jokes about that.
Oh, I still do. I still do. A little bit of it is just more jokingly, but growing up in a
Hmm.
country town, people were extremely racist. A lot of people out
Yeah.
here, I tell them stories, they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, like right out of going to Selma, whatever you see in the movies, sadly, that's Alabama today. The police sometimes are still like that. People are still like that, older generation. So growing up biracial, it was so hard because I had curly hair. I went to a small school. I think the only other mixed girl was my sister in the school. So having to look around and, picture day or just simply my mom believed in like twisting up with grease. So not having someone represent what I look like, it was very hard for me in elementary school because I was just like, okay, all these boys like this girl, but they don't like me. Like,
Mm.
what's wrong with
Yeah.
me? Then that led me into straightening my hair. And there's nothing wrong with having no silk press, but the intention behind it, I was like, while her hair is pretty and it's straight, I'm going to straighten my hair. I want to look like her. She's getting attention. She's loved. Why am I not? But it was honestly just because, for one, they weren't used to seeing anyone like me. Two, I was a lot more loved than what I knew. When you're in middle school, you just have crushes and you don't want anyone to know. But it took me a long time to really love my crown and love my curls and just love me. Growing up, I was super pale. I still am. I can't tan worth of nothing. So having jokes about, oh, you're mixed, but you're albino, like the colorism, like, oh, not only are you albino, you're an Oreo. Your hair is like this. Why is your hair so messy? It's so frizzy. It's just like always hearing something negative about myself, about the way I look, or something that I can't change, to where I was just like, okay, you know what? Maybe they are right. Maybe I should straighten my hair and maybe I should go tan. Maybe I should dress like this. Because I've always grown up dressing more like a tomboy. I've accepted it more now. But being young, like, I didn't want to wear skinny jeans and a crop top. I wanted to wear big sweats and a hoodie. But people just always like having something to say, especially my family. Like, I was the first mixed kid in my black side and white side. So for my black side, it was, you need to braid your hair up and put eyelashes on, and I need you to, like, don't talk to your white people. Then I go to my white side and it's like, hey, like, I need you to be a little bit more classy. So it was just like hearing all of these words And these words getting put to a specific race was, do I act like this or do I act like this? Well, if I act this way, I don't want my side of my family to be mad. Well, I don't want them to think I don't love them. It was extremely hard growing up biracial until I got to the point to where I just finally accepted myself for me, especially getting to high school and everybody loves curly hair. And I was just like, you know what? People are going to love me and hate me no matter what. And I finally accepted it, and I'm so, like, happy that God made me the way he did, because my hair is unique, my skin's unique, especially being tall and being biracial. It's like, you wanna be hidden, and then you walk in and you're already 6 foot from elementary school. So everyone sees you at the assembly, but my mom's just always, always poured love into me and my sister, whether it was for our hair, whether it was just for our skin tone. She's never made us pick. And I know a lot of biracial kids have to pick. Like, either you act black or you act white. That's the saying. So my mom was just like, you don't have to do anything. Just be you. And it's allowed me to be like, you know what? That's true. But now, today's generation, almost everybody's mixed. So being around people, especially coming to California, it's extremely diverse. It took me a second, even going to Spain Park just a little bit, being in a small, small town with small minded people. I was just like, once I stepped out, I was like, oh, this is okay. Like, I'm not getting picked on for my hair color. Or even, I remember when I first came to California, I had cornrows. And in Alabama, the day before I left, somebody gave me the sickest side eye ever. And was just like, hey, like, why you got that in your hair? Just flat out. And I was just like, I'm biracial. Like, I have really, really thick hair at my scalp. It's just like, okay. I came to California. People were like, your braids are so pretty. Like, everyone was just so accepting. And I feel like I'm fully accepting myself probably about 2 years ago. Like, and I'm 23 now. So about 21, I finally accepted loving myself for who I truly am.
Mhm. Alright, so before you went to Cali, you said you went to school in
Hmm.
Alabama too. Where'd you go?
Yeah. Well, I went to college in Mississippi for 2 years.
Okay. Oh, so you stayed in the South, so it wasn't like a big jump for you.
Nah, I was in the sip because, I was in Birmingham and then I went to right next to Starkville in Columbus. So it was like a big jump. Like, and mind you, I was so focused on basketball that when I went to college, it was a whole different life. It was like, especially the friends I was around, I love my Mississippi people. I love everybody in the SIP. It's so different. Like, they are people who I talk to this day. I met them when I was like 17, 18 years old. Everyone has a family, but it was a little bit of a jump, but still, like, I went from the country to countryer.
Mm. Alright, so during that time, you had a lot of, challenge and everything, because that led you to taking a gap year. So what happened
Yeah.
between committing to wanna go to Mississippi and deciding I need to take a gap year? What happened in those 2 years?
I feel it all started before I even started college. I committed, like, right before I went to school. I had just so many offers. Like, I wish now I would have took time to really, like, look into them, but I had so many offers, and just coming off of depression and learning how to deal with it, it was one of those things where I was just like, I'm just gonna sign this paper so my parents can just smile and I can go on about my day. So that's what I did, and when I got there, I feel like I was pretty focused, but not extremely focused, and, like, everything was new. The party life, the college life, school, balancing, learning how to live without my family. I was extremely glued to my parents, so having to go to college and not see my mom down the hall was pretty hard for me, and it got to the point to where I was just like, "Okay, yeah, freshman year, it is what it is." Sophomore year, I was just like, "I'm just gonna go and see how this goes." I just want my parents to be proud of me, but obviously that just catches up. And it got to the point where I was just like, my depression, I wasn't taking care of it, and I wasn't taking my medicine. I was in an extremely abusive relationship. So I just listened to people who I thought had good intention for me. I just listened to what they had to say, and the whole time they were just praying on my downfall. But I was just like, "Oh, well, you know what? We're close and you must know what's right. So I'll just listen to what you have to say." And it definitely hurt me, but it set me up for where I am now. But for sure, like sophomore year, beginning of sophomore year, it was just like not being focused, not focused on my grades, and also just trying to live life in a worldly way. It just made me be like, I don't care about school. I just want to, wake up, get money, go party, whatever happens, happens. And it caught up with me eventually because since basketball wasn't fun anymore, I wasn't even going to practice. Like, I would go to practice and be like, I can't wait to get done so I can hang out with my friends. And I was just like, okay, you know what? Had another transparent conversation with my mom. And she was just like, hey, you don't want to do this? Don't do it. And I was like, it took a lot of thought because I had been thinking like this going into my sophomore year, which was July. So I ended up taking the gap year in December of that year. So I had a couple of months. It was just always on my mind. And my mom always tells me, it doesn't matter, you're not going to upset me. And then once I get that confirmation, I'm just like, you know what? All right. So I eventually took my gap year, um, told the school, my coach, I was pretty close to him too. And I was just pretty open and honest with him. And I was just like, my mental health's not good. I just want to take a break. But I feel like at this time, mental health just started like becoming the topic of a conversation, but it wasn't like really there yet. So people didn't really understand like the severity of if my mind isn't good, I'm not going to come to practice. And also, I don't miss anything. I love going to practice. I love going to games, but it got to the point to where I was like, I can't come to practice. I need a day. And then one day turned into two, two turned into the next week. So that's when I was just like, all right, I'm going to take my gap year and go home.
So what year was this that you took the gap year?
I want to say it was 2020, beginning of 2023. So 2022 of December.
So halfway through sophomore year, you like, all right, this is enough. I'm done. I'm out.
Actually, I lied. I think it was 2023 of December. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Halfway through, I was just like, I'm done. I want to go home. That's how, like, I feel like that's what people don't talk about that comes with depression. The nonchalantness, the not caring about anything. And I got to the point to where I lost interest of everything. Like, I love to shop. I love to just take walks, play ball, and I didn't want to do anything. I was just waking up. Whatever was on the list for the day is what happened. And I was just like, this is more fun over here. I'm comfortable not having to run. I'm comfortable just waking up doing whatever. I'm just gonna go where I'm comfortable and I'm just gonna see you guys later. And that's what my mind was on as an 18-year-old.
Mm. All right. So December hits. You like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm done with hooping. What happened next? Because I feel like, do you stay at school? Do you go back home? What was the next pivot from deciding I'm done with hooping in the middle of the school year, depression's getting worse, relationships trash, everything is trash right now. What's the next move?
I started modeling in January. My sister is a very, very big supermodel right now. She does not want to talk about it. She's super humble. She's extremely successful. She's in Australia right now. Shout out to the sis. But she was like, her agents always, we've known her since she was 13, 14 years old, the agent. And she's like, hey, come model. Hey, come model. And I was just like, I'm not trying to model. That's my sister's lane. I'm going to stay over here. So without, like with me not playing, my mom's always had the rule, if you don't work, you play. If you don't play, you work. Something has to go on in your life. So I was like, okay, you know what? I don't want to work at like a fast food. I'm gonna go down the street and I'm gonna model with my sister. And it actually ended up being super good. It was fun. I got my first casting, my first time ever. And it was like a hair show. They dyed my hair literally the color of this wall. And I had a big afro, but I was pretty successful with it. And then probably like literally right when I got home, I was modeling, going to castings, modeling, hanging with my sis. Um, I worked a, I think I worked at Dunkin', so I'm a barista. To this day, I know how to make some good coffee. but I worked at Dunkin' for a while growing up. Me and my sister worked at Full Moon too. We are just picking up jobs, and then having my sister was just like so fun. Just like working with her, making money. It was just another story. But just working jobs, working. And then I got to the point where I was like, March Madness came. I think the end of March Madness. I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, you know what? Must be nice. Like hooping and playing. But then I was like, you know what? That's not me anymore. Like, let it go. So months go by and then I've been like still working and stuff at this time. I worked at Hobby Lobby, like picking up these jobs to where I remember coming back home from working and I was drained. And I was like, this is boring. Like waking up, going to a job that I don't like, standing on my feet for 8 hours in one spot, working at a register. Who wants to live that life? And like, no shame to those who do, but I just feel like God called me for greater, like greater than just standing in one spot. Like, I didn't even have any community, no friends. So I was just like, this is getting boring. And not only is it getting boring, I started seeing my potential and I was like, I gave up all of this for this. I don't have to. And then, like I said, going through like a very tough relationship, just listening to a person and what they have to say, when I finally came to the conclusion of, you know what, maybe this person doesn't have good intention for me. I need to stop listening to them. I need to stop listening to other people. And my mom's always told me, do what makes you happy. But it was just a thought. And I felt like when I took my gap year, it was over. I was just like, you know what? That's the past. Like, I'm not going to go back to basketball. I made a mistake, and my mistake is why I am here today. But obviously, mistakes don't define you. And just being young, like 18 to 20, like that age is weird because it's like, you're young, but you're not. You're growing into an adult, but you're not. Living with mom, but you're not. So it was just like being pretty immature mentally and just wanting to look at what everyone else was doing on social media. Like, oh, she's working. Well, I'm going to go work. Oh, she's modeling. I want to go model. Oh, she looks happy doing this. So I'm going to do this too. And that just led me into a big circle for like a full year. And that's why I didn't touch a basketball for a whole year because I was just like, basketball was who I used to be. It's not who I am now. And I just strayed away from it.
So you mentioned a relationship a couple of times. Can we talk about it?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So when it comes to him, what was the beginning of things going bad? Like, how did it start off to where it's like, oh, like, what's your mindset when things first happen of like, okay, is it just a situational thing or was it like, oh, it's a one time thing, maybe it stops? Like, help me understand the beginning of when things started going bad with him.
um, I feel like probably, well, going into high school, that was my best friend. So it was super hard to, like when you have a best friend, you always have their back. And we were best friends before we were anything. So probably a couple, like, we were together for a very long time, but a couple of years in, we both had a lot going for us. He was super talented. He was, a really good football star. But when we got to the point where we both just weren't doing anything with our life, simply as like taking a gap year, waking up, whatever happens, happens. Obviously, physically, that had happened, I would say probably like 2 years into my relationship. I was with him for almost 5. So it happened for a very long time. A lot of people thought that maybe like, "Oh, that was a one-time thing," just because I'm extremely transparent and open about domestic abuse. It's not okay. Uh, super, super narcissistic. A lot of mental, like, drain. I was mentally drained coming from having to wake up, arguing, going to practice, arguing. I think a lot of people now make arguing and toxicity cute, and that's not cute because it can lead into something that can kill you. and I take it super, super, super serious because it started off with, one small argument, and that's how it always starts off. One disagreement turned into two, turned into three, and so forth. And then it got physical. And when it did, it was just like, okay, well, this person loves me and they're my best friend. And like, I made them mad. And like I stated earlier, everything that I had to learn growing up was me. This person's mad because I made them mad. This person's upset because I made them upset. I've always been like in that mindset. So every time there was a disagreement or whether the person wasn't feeling right, I was just like, well, this happened because it's my fault and I made this person mad enough to do this. So next time I'm not going to say that, or next time I'm just going to stay in my lane because he's right. It's my fault. I made him mad. And then it just continued and it continued. And having to like hear it all the time, the negative, like just negativity, like I was so used to that that I was just like, well, this is normal. This is what I see. This is what I've seen growing up. I don't see what you guys are tripping about. Like, I guess it's a little toxic, but what does that have to do with, everyone's relationship is a little toxic. Like, I was thinking like that,
Mhm.
but it was so normal for me to where I was just like, what's the difference? Everyone argues, everyone gets mad here and there. But it was like having so much love and not understanding that that's not real love. That's not what love is supposed to be. But I thought that was love. And I thought showing my love was staying and proving, well, I love you enough to stay here. So I want you to know that I do love you because you don't love me. You don't do this. Just having to hear narcissistic talk, you start believing it and you want to prove to someone that you love, like, that's not true. So a lot of people had the question, like, why did you stay? But I think it's a super, super hard answer. And those who get it, get it. Those who don't, don't. I was definitely I just thought it was normal. I stayed because I loved the person that I was with. And like I stated, I didn't have a community. I had no one. So that was my only friend. So I was just like, you know what? It's my fault that we're having these arguments. It's my fault that this is happening. Obviously, I knew deep, deep, deep back in my mind that I should have left. I knew it wasn't okay and I stayed. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that part either. When you're in an abusive relationship, the girl isn't so dumb, or the guy, it can happen both ways. They're not so dumb to where they just want to stay. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of situations, trauma bonded, soul ties, whatever you call it. That was absolutely happening to the point to where I had seen it early on, but I feel like I was too scared to let go, so I just allowed it to happen.
So, okay, the first time it happened where it got
Yeah.
physical, was it like a very I'm not good with being PC with this because I don't like the whole skew and go
That's
words
all
thing.
right. You don't have to be media trained. You can do this. You can do this.
But you know how I'm trying to like be mindful of like how stuff get clipped. You know how social
I get
media
you.
is where it's like you can't say certain words because get bleeped out or whatever. Like you can't say suicide. They'd be like unalive themselves. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know how the PC version of stuff. And so it's cool. And so when he first hit you, was it like a very dramatic, like abusive, like, okay, you hit her like she was a dude, or was it more so of like a push or anything? Like what was the they said like the result of the altercation?
Oh, it started off very small, like very, very small. Something super started off with anger first, words. And then after a while of having like the words were like some crazy, crazy sentences. But I was just like, okay, that's normal. Everybody gets mad. And then it started off like physically, something super tiny, like a small pinch or a small bruise, Like, oh, I didn't mean to. And it's just like, okay, whatever. And then it got to the point to where like I even had my pinky broken. And I was just like, the way it happened is that when everything like happened physically, my pinky ended up getting into the middle. And it was like, oh, well, your pinky was just in between me. So it's just like, you know what? I could see how that happened because my hand was up, like, okay. But it went from like something small to like, it just gradually progressed over time. And the smaller it was, the more I was like, okay, you know what? Like, just a small bruise. It's not that deep. Like, oh, like maybe I
Mhm.
got this bruise from playing basketball, just like lying to myself and accepting it because I was just like, not only was I loving the person I was with, I was worried. Like, that person is very popular. So I was so worried that people weren't going to believe me anyways, or just having the community that that person had that I didn't have. So it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, nobody's going to believe me or people are going to think it's my fault. The narrative already is that it's my fault. So why not just, take my lick and move on? And that's kind of what it was.
I was about to ask, like, how did you play off all of the visible showings of like the abuse? Because it's like, hold on, how do you play off pinky getting broken, like the whatever? I don't know the details of what you had showing, but like, how did you kind of cover that up to where it's like, all right, what's up with you? You know what I mean? Because like you
Mhm.
ran walking around
No,
with a
the
broken pinky, it's
pinky,
like it's crazy.
yeah. The pinky, and some, like, other stuff, because I was playing basketball at the time, it was just and my mom and dad they were working a lot, so they weren't really home as much. So when this happened, in the beginning, they weren't home. So they wouldn't have known. But I would be like, "Oh, I broke in basketball today." And I was going to basketball practice in the morning times. So and they wouldn't see me till nighttime. So they're like, "Oh, okay, I get it." But the visible was for sure Fenty makeup. And I reached out to Fenty once I got like confident enough with my story. I was like, "Hey, Fenty makeup, you guys, without y'all, I don't know what I'd do, but like in serious note, like thank you for what you've done." And they gave me like a $100 gift card. They replied back to my thing. And I think I did it during domestic like violence month or whatever. And they were like, "Hey, here you go. Thank you for like supporting us." And especially like, with Rihanna's history, I was just like,
Mhm.
Rihanna's like showed a
Mhm.
lot and I love this. It was just kind of one of those things where I didn't really think anything would happen. But the PR like manager reached out and sent me some stuff and was like, "We're so glad." I sent them like a screenshot of me like doing my classes and therapy and stuff. And I told them like how much I grown, just kind of a little bit of my story. But they sent me back stuff and they were like, "We're so glad that you've grown and like we're sorry that you went through that." But Fenty makeup, like, especially being as pale as I am, it covered everything up. So, yeah, and there was times where I had to, like, cover it up, wipe my tears off, and go on to a birthday party like nothing ever happened.
Oh man, what was the worst it got for you to where you hit a point where you're like, okay, this is beyond not normal? Like, what was the moment for you to finally see and realize, like, okay, you can't keep covering up and trying to excuse what happened and trying to make up for what happened, pun not intended, but it works there. And you got to the point where, like, okay, this has to end. Like, what was the breaking point for you to where you knew things had to change?
I feel there were many times where I was, like, fed up, but officially to where it got to the point to where I was like, I'm not doing this no more," was the last time, and it was like a punch to the face. I got I feel like I got knocked out. I couldn't hear anything out of my ears. It was like static noise, and I remember being in the dark and looking up, and I couldn't see anything. And I like it's almost as if I was blind, and then when I came back to where I could see, I was looking up and I was just like, "Okay, it's time to grab my stuff and go," which was like, pretty different for me because I was just always like dealing with whatever came, but having to be like, "Okay, let me grab my stuff and let me just go home." Like at the moment, it was just shock, utter shock because it started off with something small, And not saying it's okay, but it's like something small to where it's a punch into the side of my temple. And so I didn't see myself because I was in the dark. I grabbed my stuff and I left. And I had like blood all over me. And I didn't know. I had one of my friends come pick me up. I think for sure, the next day when I woke up, I like my concussion was so bad. And then I went to sleep on my concussion. So it was so bad to where, mind you, this is normal to me though. Like getting into physical altercations is normal. So that's why I went to sleep. People are like, what? Like, yeah, this was honestly probably every other Saturday. So I just took my nap, went on about my day, and I was like, we'll probably argue in the morning time. I'm just going to cut my phone off and go to sleep. I woke up and then I didn't remember anything. Like, I just figured the day before was not a day. Like, for some reason, I just couldn't remember the past few days. I went to the restroom and I looked in the mirror and I saw everything. I had like a black eye right here and I had like marks on my neck. My head was spinning. I had cuts all over me, pinches, like bruises, just everything. And I remember looking in the mirror and specifically telling myself, like, just look at yourself. Not necessarily like beating myself down, but just being like, look at yourself and look what you allowed. Look what this person did to you. And you're going to continue to be doing this. You're going to continue to be with someone who does this to you. This is not love. And that's when it clicked instantly. Like after looking at myself, I cleaned up. My coach and his wife came. I told them what happened, which was another God moment. I don't tell anyone anything. Just called her up, told her, and they came. They took me to the hospital, and she looked at me and she was like, hey, I love you no matter what. And this is like my first time meeting her. She's like, like, you need to step forward with this. And I was just like, I don't really want to. I was so petrified. I was extremely terrified of what was going to happen, like the repercussions of if I told people what happened to me or if I told people like who did this to me. So I didn't want to tell anyone. I didn't want anyone to even know. My mom didn't know at the time. And then the doctor came and the doctor was like, this looks really bad. We need to have a crime scene investigator come. So they had already, like, someone had already called the police because of how bad, like, I was walking down the sidewalk. Someone called the police and then they just, linked the two. And I remember having to have a full, like, detective group come in and take pictures of me. And from the mirror to that moment, it was just like, that was the Meet the Warriors week. So I'm just like, I'm supposed to be having fun right now. I'm supposed to be meeting my new friends, hanging with my new team, and I'm in the hospital. Don't even remember what happened last night. So that was like one of those things where I was like, okay, like if I go back, this person may unalive me. Like, and that's the thought. It was never really like that sometimes, but it got to the points where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be like able to say goodbye to my mom if I see this person again. And it broke me down. I was just like, I finally came to my senses. But I also had a safe space. I had a group where people were like, we're going to be here for you. And I don't care what this person says. Like, I believe you. And just hearing someone say that they believe me and put love out and tell me, like, I have your back, I was just like, you know what? I'm not turning back. And I did that. I put my foot down. I went to court. And from there, like, I never turned my back. But I've learned how to live with grace for myself and for the other person because the closer I've gotten to God, a lot of people are angry about it, but I'm not. It's just a part of my story. And it doesn't like I have nothing to linger. But it was definitely one of those times where seeing myself in the mirror, I was just like, I'm not doing this no more. Like, I can't go back.
You a better person than me. You way better than me. Like I
No, yeah. No, a lot of people say that, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like God has given me a very unique, rare heart. I don't think I've met anyone with it because it's so hard for me to like have a grudge. Even with my friends or even with like my sister, I'll tell myself I'm going to block my sister and I'm not going to talk to her for this many days. And then I unblock her in like 30 minutes. Like, I have the purest heart but the good thing about that is God's given me the ability to forgive, and I know a lot of people can't forgive and they hold on to things that hurt them, but it was hard. It wasn't that easy. Like, it took some time,
Mhm,
having to not look at socials or, like, having to see them live their best life, and I'm going like, I can't even play basketball. So, it
mhm.
was, like, so frustrating, but having to learn how to, like, not wish on someone else's downfall. God gets his get back sooner or later, but, like, that has nothing to do with me, and I'm just gonna stay focused on myself, and that's exactly what I did.
No, I haven't fully learned that part of my Christian walk yet, cause like, it don't take a lot for me to feel, like, petty, and I don't always do something about it, but there's a level of I'll definitely have a level of forgiving you, but it's also a level of
Mhm.
I'm keeping you 10 feet away at the exact same time. So, like, "Alright, cool. What you did. Alright, I'm not finna, like, try to get my get back." But in the back of my brain, we not okay, you know what I mean? And I'm very fine with distancing and cutting off
Yeah,
people. It's not a dramatic thing for me. And I don't have, like, crazy stuff happen in my life. I don't have, like, very dramatic things happen. So it's, like, very petty stuff, and it's like, "Okay, you rubbed me the wrong way, and it's in an area you shouldn't
yeah,
rub me the wrong way with. Alright, bet. We cool." So for that to happen,
yeah,
it'll be very hard for me to sit back and be like, I don't have anything in my heart towards you. So that's where
yeah.
I'm like, okay,
No,
you're
I get it for
definitely
sure.
better than me with that. Like
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
I
even I
understand.
don't even
But I've also learned, like, reading my Bible, like, you can give people grace and you can forgive and stay at a distance. I've always been so forgiving to where I'd let people walk over me, but now, like, it took me a long time to learn that, like, even Jesus had to, like, withdraw himself. And I've always been like, "You know what? Imma forgive them, go on about my day like nothing happened," but, like, the Bible doesn't say that you have to do that. The Bible just tells you to forgive. Like, forgive and move forward, but if that person can't be in your life anymore, then that's okay. But it took me a long time to learn that when it came to friendships, relationships, just anything.
mm, okay. So we're on a recovery road past him in the situation. And then
Yeah.
when did the hospital incident happen?
So, it happened September the 6th. I went to the hospital September the 7th
And this is before you
of
decide to stop basketball.
2024. Yes. No, this is after. So I had stopped basketball, came back, I'm like, "Oh, I'm finna get back into the groove of things," and then boom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when you on the comeback,
Yeah,
you're trying to get back in the groove of things, you're trying to get the game back, getting your life back in order. It's like, boom, okay, this happens. So that happens in September.
yeah,
And when did you start to officially start to get back in the groove after that? So hospital incident happens. What's next?
yeah. Um, Rest and recovery, therapy, paperwork, everything. I didn't start touching the floor probably until December. I had a concussion so bad that I was dizzy walking around my house. I was I remember dribbling the basketball and I had to start off with I think like 5 minutes a day. Once I got into the physical recovery part, they would only give me 5 minutes to work out. And I'm like, "That's stupid." But I remember dribbling the ball and 2 minutes in, I had to throw up. I was so dizzy. I was sick to my stomach because of how bad my concussion still was. So, like, it was so bad, the where I got hit was, like, on the side of the temple and then in the back of my head. So I had a concussion in 2 different spots. So, it was like they were like, "Don't play basketball again." But I wanted to play basketball. So, I had to, like, really, really rest, and then they were like, "If you're gonna do this, we have to go on a super, super tight schedule when it comes to PT, speech therapy, learning how to re-talk again." I was slurring my speeches. I couldn't remember like, I would have a conversation with a girl and then turn around and look at her and be like, "Oh, hey," like she was never there. So, once I got mentally okay to the point to where I could understand what was going on, I started dribbling, and then after like 5 minutes, it went to 10, 10 went to 15, 15 went to 30. It took me months to come back. It took me so long. I don't feel like I got cleared this past what 2025 is when I got cleared, 2025 of June. So I had a concussion for a very
Ooh.
long time. It was like the recovery part that was bad, but also my neurologist, which I'm glad it took time because that gave me the time to like really, really heal, really sit down, talk to a therapist, psychologist, just everything. But June is when I finally like got the papers saying you're good to go.
Okay, so shut it down December of 23, right? Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, 23. And then March Madness hits. So March, April, you're like, okay, I'm trying to get back in the groove. Boom. So you got the connection, you got the school, you're starting to work your way back into it. September hits. Okay, knock me back and trying to figure things out again. It's like, okay. And then you go to school. That's when you still had the concussion still.
Yeah.
So you still couldn't
And
get cleared for the concussion.
yeah. Well, I went to school, then the concussion happened. So it was just
Oh,
like,
okay,
oh
okay.
my gosh, like I was like, God don't want me to win. Like I'm going home. And it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, because I worked very hard to come play basketball again after my gap year. Then I get a concussion that takes my season away from me. So I was just
Mm,
like, but I had, like I said, my community was amazing. My coaches were the best. Like they allowed me to still have fun and be a part of the team. Like I other than practicing physically, I still felt like I was on the team.
mm. Sheesh. And so you just got
Yeah.
cleared.
And then this year, I come back after a concussion, after everything. I'm like, great, this is my year. We get to this year and our season got canceled because too many girls got hurt.
Golly.
Yeah. But that's when I decided, okay, my season got canceled. Imma start working. I I train every morning. I'm talking to some schools. I'm not gonna talk about who right now, but I'm talking to some schools. It's looking good athletically for me, but I'm in shape. I'm in so much better shape, probably this is my prime. Like, I've gotten the amount of time that I've been working on my craft with my trainer. We work every other morning, 3 times a week since the season got canceled in the beginning of November. So I've been
Mm,
working, working, working. But January came, December came, and I was like, "Let me just start working, like, to get a job." I don't really have a lot of school time. Like, I need something to do. I've been coaching for a company called Hoop Show. It's been the most amazing gift ever. Like, everything happens for a reason because no, I didn't play, but I have not only even better connections and amazing people, they put me on amazing. Like, I met them, I told them straight up, I'm like, "I just wanna coach. I'm just trying to make money. I don't I ain't trying to put too much into this." And I fell in love
mhm,
with it. Like, I have 16U girls, I help with the 17U girls, I have the 11U girls and the 13U girls. And then we do skills training, and I train, like, all ages and all types of gender. Love it. I did not think that I would love it. Love
mm,
it so much. Met other coaches, been doing AAU, and now I've had the opportunity to coach at a high school. And I'll probably more likely coach at that high school. I can't say yet who. It's a very nice school out here in California. But I was like, everything happens for a reason because now, like, I have a promised spot when I graduate college. So that's great.
mm. 'Cause I was wondering, like, okay, she says she plays college ball. I see the pictures, but then I'm always seeing in your story where you're just like training and you're coaching. And I'm like, where do you have time for school ball in this? I'm like, what the heck is going on? And
Oh,
I'm trying to
yeah.
figure
No, our
out
season got
where.
canceled.
Yeah, I was like, dang, what's going on? And now it makes sense. you're technically not a college player right
Yeah,
now because you don't have a season, so
yeah.
dang.
Yeah, but I have my years of eligibility, so I have 2 years left, and then they're gonna count like a
Mm,
grad year if I wanna stay. But honestly, I'm just trying to get my year in. But I'm almost done with school. I have a year left of school, so we'll see what that looks like. When I graduate next year academically, I'll have one more year on the court. But also, like, I just had so many things come at me. I obviously wanted to, finish school out athletically, go to college or go finish college, go pro, but I don't know, like, now I might be into coaching. I love it. Hoop Show's been amazing. I love my bosses. They are the best, great people. Like, it's a Christian-based community too. So it's just great. The kids are super funny. I love them so much. Having a job that you love is so important because I go into my job in a bad mood or having a bad day and I leave laughing. Like sometimes I don't even want to leave the gym because it's like I'm not only coaching kids for a living, but I'm also being able to just get in the gym and shoot. And just being
yeah.
around good people is always so fun and good. So literally, it's amazing. Shout out Hoop Show for sure.
Oh, man.
No, it's a
I knew
crazy,
you
wild story for sure.
I I was just gonna say, I knew you had a crazy story, just, like, getting bits and pieces and seeing, fragments of what you're posting and everything, but now that I'm actually getting the layout of it, I'm like, "Oh, snap, this is actually pretty wild." Like, this is all kind of,
Yeah,
like a movie,
it's a God did moment.
somebody wrote this down somewhere, and it's like, "This is a story we're gonna put out there." And I'm like, "Oh, snap, this is really wild."
Yeah. No, I've been told my life is a movie.
I see now. It really is. Like, it's a lot, man. And I
Yeah.
think the best part about it is, cause sometimes people talk about stuff, they feel comfortable talking about it, but there's still, like, the emotional tie of, like, you can see they get a little uncomfortable talking about the situations, or they get a little uncomfortable, you know, dealing with everything. But, like, you've been smiling through this whole thing. You've been like, "Alright, cool, this happened, and then this was happening next." Like, you're just very, um, strong in this moment of talking about it. And I think that's the part that really makes this all worth it, I guess you can say, because
Yeah.
it bent you, then it broke you, but you got put back together again. Because some people like, oh, you can let it bend you, but it don't break you. And it's like, no, sometimes you need to get broken. You feel me? Like
Mhm.
in a spiritual sense, you need to get broken because I try to get too deep on here with stuff, but I'll go there anyway. So like he's the master potter. And so there are points where we need to go ahead and just be broken down all the way. Like, nah, ain't no bending. There is no partial no, we're tearing it all the way apart. We're breaking it all the way down to where is nothing there. To where because he is the kinsman redeemer or he is the master redeemer, he can take everything we have, build it back up and flip it now. And so to
Mm.
see you talking about as a youth kind of dealing with the identity issues and like the need to be perfect and kind of just framing around that. It's like he allowed life to do what it's going to do because that broke you down to where it's like, all right, bro, I don't have basketball no more. I moved to Cali, so I don't have my family no more. What do I have but you? And so it got to the point where it's like, okay,
Mhm.
cool. I'm gonna try you out, bro. I ain't got nothing else. What do I lose by finally giving you a shot? And you gain everything back plus more. So to see how I kind of got
Yeah, for
redeemed and
sure.
flipped for you, it's crazy to see how everything happened. And like I said, right now it's the most beautiful part to see how you still standing, smiling, killing it, doing your thing now. So man, I love it for you, man. It's crazy to see.
Thank you, thank you. No, this has been great, and I'm so glad that you gave me the opportunity to talk about my story because 'cause I'm sure a lot of, like, people wanna ask, but they're worried about, specific topics, but I'm glad that people are gonna be able to really, like, understand me for sure.
Yeah. You had a post, you made not too long ago. You said God changes from the inside out. First our heart, then our mind. After everything is rebuilt in his way, he shapes us more like him. And I think that kind of just frames what you've been talking about. It's like the challenges started inside, dealing with the depression, the identity, everything. And now we're seeing the outside of it because we're seeing the smile, we're seeing the coaching, we're seeing you being in prime time hooping. And, hopefully, Lord willing, we see you actually display the skill that you have, the confidence that you have, the rebuilding that you have, so it's just crazy to see it actually play out. 'Cause, we talk about how God is good and how God can redeem stuff. Like, no, this is actual proof of what it is and what it looks like.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm glad. I used to go through so many things growing up in life and I never understood, but I'm honestly glad. It's an honor that God can use me in the way he does because especially with how you put it and hearing it from a different perspective, I'm seeing it like, "Oh, bad's happening to me," but I'm glad that people can see that just because bad happens, like, the devil doesn't win. God definitely always wins, and he just shapes us more like him every single day. It's something that I didn't see that would come, but it's here. So I'm glad that people can see that, you know what? Maybe like someone will question God is real because of things that's happened in my life, because I've had a lot of God did moments. And I feel like having the situations that I've had, only God's brought me out. So being able to make it out of the impossible, God just does the possible. So I'm grateful for sure that he can use me.
All right. So, coach, I really need your help right here. Okay.
Okay.
So, you have a young lady come to you. She's like, Coach,
Okay.
uh, can I talk to you for a minute? I'm like, yeah, sure. I got you. Let's name her Susie. All right. So, we got little
Okay.
Susie. She's like, what did they call you? Like Coach J? What did they call you?
They call me everything. I have an issue right now. My 11U calls me Coach Nonchalant, but they call me Coach Jaycee.
All right. So, little Susie, she's coming to you, Coach Jaycee. Need to talk to you. What's up, Susie? I got you. I'm uh I'm in high school and I feel a lot of pressure that I have to show up a certain way. And I'm dealing with like I see stuff on social media. I see this girl, she got the ranking, she has the awards, and I can hoop. I know I'm talented, but I just feel like it's not enough. And I keep feeling like I have to show up a certain way. I feel like I have to be on 10 all the time. I feel this pressure of, whether it is coming from parents. It wasn't your situation, but it's coming my parents pressuring me. I feel social media pressuring me. What are you telling little Susie right now?
What I tell all my girls is when they tell me, they're just like, "Oh my gosh," and this and this and this. I tell them, "Take a breath," and I take a deep breath with them. I calm them down, and I tell my girls before the game, we all take a breath together, and I say, "I don't expect anything from anyone. The only thing that I expect from you girls is have fun." I tell them, "If you're not having fun, I'm taking you off the court." And it obviously, puts a little bit of smile and giggle into them. But I would tell Susie, like, take a deep breath. Let's talk about this. Have fun. And how can we get you to have fun if you're not having fun? I play best when I'm having fun. And also at that age, they love to see their coach on the court and just having like experience already. I tell them, hey, like I have good experience with this. I play good when I have fun. Let's have fun. And I would just tell her, don't believe everything you see on social media. I let my girls follow me. They see my story so they can see, like, okay, you know what? Social media is fake. Coach is going through this and this is happening, and I also want to tell her that rankings don't matter. I tell my girls to be confident. I don't care if you're playing against a 5-star recruit or if you're playing against a girl who's 5 years older than you, IQ wise. Go out there and be confident. And when you're playing basketball, you should have the confidence of, I'm not going to let this girl score on me on defense, and I'm scoring on this girl every time on offense. And I also just try to lighten up the moment. Just make sure that I tell her that basketball doesn't define her, and if she doesn't wanna do this, if she's not happy, then I'm here. I'm here to help her. I tell my girls too, I'm here if they wanna go to school, I'm here to help them push them out to school. I'm just here just here. Like, sometimes people just need to hear you just say, "I'm just here."
Mm, yeah. That sounds like a little bit of what your parents gave you, or like your mom, like, "I'm just here if you need me. I'm here if you wanna hoop or if you don't wanna hoop." So, yeah, I see your mom coming off on you in that point, you know? So, let's say
Yes, mother knows best. Shout out to my mom, man. My mom's literally man, my mom's been through she's a warrior. That's where I got it from. She has cancer. Like, just real quick on my mom. My mom has been through everything plus more. And she wakes up every single day. She hustles and she takes care of her business. And I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so glad. I know everyone says it, but God gave me the best mom on this earth. I'm so glad that I have the mom that I have for sure. I would be nothing without her.
mm, yeah, man. Shout out to mom, man. Like, that's where you got the gangster from. You got it from her. Like, that's what it makes sense now. So,
For sure.
but alright, we got Susie number 2, okay?
Okay.
Susie's a little bit older, and she's with the guy. It's like, oh Lord, when the dating situation hits, it
Mhm.
gets real. And it turns out like Coach Jaycee can talk to you. For sure, I got you, Susie. What's up? So, with such and such last night, and things took a left, and he hit me. This, that, and the third happened, and I don't know what to do. What are you telling her?
I think the first thing I would tell her is love doesn't hurt. I would ask her if she's okay first, let her see, like, how her emotions are, because it's a lot, obviously. But the simple sentence that love doesn't hurt, and I'm a true believer of that. Love feels good, it's kind, it's slow, and it's patient. And if love hurts you emotionally or physically, then it's not real love. Um, I know love from God, which is the best love. So I know what love looks like. And I would just tell her that it's not love. But the hard thing about domestic situations is that you can tell someone all that you tell them, and it's up to them if they want to listen. I've had people, tell me the same amount of things, and I didn't listen, but I would just make sure and then tell her, like, love doesn't hurt and it's kind. And whether I know that person or not, I know that maybe someone might love you in their own way, but that doesn't mean it's real love and it's true love, and that she's worthy of so much. Because a lot of the issue is that it's an insecurity. You don't think you can find someone better than that person, so you just settle. But when you give your life to God, you see the like possibilities that he gives you. Therefore, one person, there's so many people on this earth. You're gonna lose everything for one person. I would tell
Mm,
her, "You are capable of so much and you're worthy of love." I don't think that I've heard that until I got older. Like, yeah, she's with someone abusive, but I would tell her, "You're worthy of good love. You're worthy of someone loving you correctly, and you're worthy to be loved just the way you love others. So if you don't feel like it's there, it's time to go." And I would be there for her every step of the way. Like, even outside of basketball, probably get some extra training in if she just wants to get her mind off in the gym for sure.
yeah, because you were talking about earlier with your situation. Um, you were saying something about how you kind of masking what happened with love, and the first thing that popped in my mind was like what the Bible defines what love is. And I'm terrible like quoting scripture, so I'm probably gonna be at this wrong, but I believe it's First Corinthians like chapter 13. So, there's no somewhere in there. Paul talks about it, and it breaks down what love is. Like love is patient, love is kind, love is understanding, all of that. And it's like that's an easy lens to view stuff through. So whether this is romantic, whether this is parents, friendship, whatever, it's like, okay, let's round down the list and see if they're following what Paul is talking about what love is. And like you said, it shouldn't hurt. Like being kind and being hurt, those aren't synonyms. Those don't add up to me. Those don't mix well together. It doesn't sound like you're being patient. It doesn't sound like everything else that is being broken down here. And that's the beautiful thing about the word. It's like when you use that as how the lens of you view the world or the mirror that you use to look at yourself, it clears a lot of things up for you. And so, I'll echo that of just being like, cool, let's read this little passage here. This is a letter this guy wrote a long time ago. Pretty
Mhm.
cool dude. You should read it. And he breaks down what love is. Do you think those things add up? And it's like, okay. So then from there we can pivot and adjust. So yeah, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love that a lot, and I also, like, tell myself too that I tell my other friends when it comes to just standards or anything, if God loved you so much to give his only kid away to die for you, like, Jesus loves you so much that he died for you. Like, he coulda let you go to hell. He coulda let you not have a relationship with God, but he died for you because he loves you, and Jesus and God love you so much. Someone gave their life up for you, and you're gonna sit here with someone who doesn't appreciate you, like someone who cheats on you, someone who doesn't love you back. It's just once you start understanding the love that God has for you, everything changes for sure. Because
Mm.
people is just like, obviously, you can't put your trust into people, but it's like, if this man died for my sins and he didn't have to, I'm not going to stress out about little Timmy down the street at all.
Oh man, that's funny. But no, man, this has been good. Uh it's a lot, man. And like this is a lot just for me to like to
Yeah,
just sit with after hearing it. And I'm
right.
just, 10,000 feet away of what happens. So it's like, dang, I still feel like it right here, like the heaven, I still feel it right here. So to see how you've
Yeah.
come from this, about 2 years now from everything, it's like, dang, that's a lot. But I commend you
Yeah.
for the fight. Everything that you've dealt with, everything that you've been going through to still be here. Cause you could have, I know, you talked about how, there was the attempts to, end it all, but it could have been more attempts afterwards and be like, you know what? Basketball ain't it. I'm done. Oh, this happened with him. All right, I'm done.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So like for you to have grown from that moment says a lot about you. And then now you flip to the next chapter where you're at now. It's like, dang, she grew even stronger after that. So, you know, you gain a fan in me, gain a lot of respect, and just, finally getting this story all laid out now, man. So, oh man, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate you
No,
for real.
thank you so much. I couldn't miss this. I was like, "No, I gotta be here. I gotta be here for this." I really appreciate it, and I love what you do for sure. I've been a fan, so I'm glad that you just give people like me the opportunity to just tell our story and just, cut up, just chat. So yeah.
Nah, man, coach, it's been great, man. I almost want to ask what's next, but I feel like that's a bad question because I feel like if I asked you this 2 years ago, you wouldn't have seen what happened. And if I asked you this 5 years ago, you wouldn't have seen what have happened. You would have been like, yeah, I'm probably hooping at this school, doing X, Y, and Z, and whoop de. Or 2 years ago, yeah, I'm gonna be doing this. And if I asked you this a year ago, you would have been like, yeah, I'm about to go here and hoop, and me and Callie doing my thing. And it's just like, nah, none of that happened. So I'm almost scared to ask you because it's gonna be like, nah, I think I'm, be coaching here and doing this. Next thing you know, you like in a WNBA coaching or something. It's like, bro, you didn't see this happen. So
No, I
yeah.
understand for sure. I think what's different from a year ago to now is I just have goals and I let God take over. Like, I'm comfortable surrendering, and like, people don't understand, I'd be saying my blessing over a banana. So, like, I give everything to God, and wherever he takes me is where I belong.
Mm, yeah, man. I appreciate you for real. Like the transparency, the vulnerability of everything. Like it's commendable, man, because I'm not very transparent. I'm working on getting better with that. And I don't be having nothing crazy. I
Yeah.
just don't like sharing anything. It's just I'm very private. So for you to have gone through everything, I'm like, bruh, I can tell people I had a paper cut today, and you've dealt with everything you've dealt with. So I'm gonna try to tell people next time I get a paper cut or I stub my toe. Like man, I'm inspired by
Mhm.
Jaycee to like share more. So man, for real,
Thank you,
thank you.
thank you. See, look, and then someone else might be like, "Dang, I stubbed my toe and it hurt," and I'm glad you said that because now I feel like I'm not the only one.
Nah, man. This man, like this for
But
real. I
no,
don't, I
thank
don't
you
think you
so much. This
understand.
has been great.
This is really sitting right here still. Like this has been it's right.
No. Dang, I'm sorry.
No, it's like like I'm very empathetic. I know I probably don't give that off at times, but like I'm very empathetic. So it's like it's not a bad situation of feeling this right here.
Mhm.
It's somewhat of a more eye-opening thing to where you know how on social media we're so detached from stuff because we just see a video and we're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit harder for me to get as detached from people because I am fairly
Mhm.
empathetic. But then it's like having a story laid out in front of you. It's hard not to have something felt with that. And like I
Yeah.
had a homie, she dealt
No,
with a
I get it.
lot of stuff, and it's crazy for her. Um, so like man, my respect for her would go through the roof every time something would be unfolded, and it's like, hold on, snap, that happened, and learn the recency of it. It'd be like, bro, that's crazy. So to have your story laid out and seeing how it's been and seeing how it's still going, it's like, okay, hats off to you, respect for you, and like I said, I'm a fan of you, wishing for you, the best moving forward. So thank you, man, for real. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Anything else? I'm gonna try to wrap up, man. Anything else you want to get out there? Anything that I miss?
No, I think some to end it with words of advice. Man, stay different, stay out the way. It's okay to not be understood because God understands you. And if you've been questioning God or questioning anything for a sign, this is your sign. He misses you and he loves you. And yeah, that's all.
Mm, I co-sign that, man. But that's it, man. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Go follow Coach JC on this journey. Like you have to now. Like seeing how the past 5 years have unfolded for her, past six, and it's like, all right, what's next is going to be even crazier. So go follow her, see what's next on the
Yeah.
journey. Um, and then make sure you subscribe because you don't want to stay next. I got another crazy interview coming up. Maybe not as crazy as this one in the same aspect, but it's gonna be good, crazy. So uh
Yeah.
yeah, appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for listening. See you next video.